الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. So as we continue our discussion regarding the book that we hope to cover in Ilm al-Mustalah al-Hadith. So been hope to discuss and to explain one of the books that have been written in what is called the science of Ilm, Mustalah al-Hadith or Ulum al-Hadith. So we had a previous introduction regarding this particular discussion. So today, inshaAllah ta'ala, we'll more try to focus on the book that we hope to cover and also something about the author of the book. So knowing the book that we have chosen to cover, and also second, the author of the book, that also that will be our discussion for today, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, and also to discuss the method that we'll be following in discussing the book that we have chosen. So as we had mentioned before, that we hope to cover a book that is a renowned book in Ilm al-Hadith. So the ulama of Hadith, that they have mentioned that the more renowned books of Hadith that we have, that serve as of the main sources of reference regarding Ilm al-Hadith, that they may summarize them into three main books. The book of Al-Khatib al-Baghdadi, Al-Kifaya fi Ilm al-Riwaya by Khatib al-Baghdadi. Second book, the book of Muqaddimah Ibn Salah, as referred to as. And then the third book of Ibn Hajar, which is Nukhba al-Fikr or Nuzhat al-Nazar. So Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, of those who have written in Ilm al-Hadith, and this book have gotten great review, got a great attention. The book that he have written regarding Ilm al-Hadith, and have become a standard that have been followed since then up until today. So his work have become a standard that have been followed since that book was written, and a great attention have been given to that book up until today, bi'awnillahi subhanahu wa ta'ala. So inshaAllah ta'ala, we hope to discuss something regarding the author, who is Ibn Hajar. So we are aware of the person that we are benefiting from and their status regarding this science, and also to discuss something of the book that he has authored that we hope to cover. So that is, and this we find it's a tradition that is done between the ulama regarding concerning that a tradition amongst the those who are teachers and from the mashaykh that we have learned that the book that one wish to study is to know something of the author and also something of the book that you will be studying. So first in line regarding concerning the author, Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, al-Mu'allif. So as for the Mu'allif, who's Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, that as for his name, he said that now he's referred to by way of laqab, many Shihab ad-Din. So it's a laqab that is given, and especially concerning during that time, that you find that many of the ulama, that they are given these type of laqab, these type of titles, Shihab ad-Din, and other titles. So Ibn Hajar rahimahullah is referred to as Shihab ad-Din. As for his kunya, is Abu Fadl, so it's Abu Fadl. As for his ism, his name, Ahmed ibn Ali ibn Muhammad ibn Muhammad ibn Ali ibn Ahmed Kinani, and he's from, which is a qabila, one of the tribes, a tribal name, and also is from Asqalani. His asl, his origin is from Asqalani, and that is a area regarding an Asqalani, and is Thumma al-Misri, where his origin is from, and Wilada, he was born in Egypt. So he's born in Qahira, what is the city of Qahira, that is in Egypt. So that's concerning his place of birth. So his place of birth is in Qahira and Misr. And as we said, his name, Ahmed ibn Ali ibn Muhammad ibn Muhammad ibn Ali ibn Ahmed Kinani Asqalani, and is generally well known as Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani. So he's become more famous, that is referred to in brief Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani or Hafiz Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani. So as for his title, that he has many titles, also is referred to as name that is referred to within the science of Hadith and other science. So he's referred to as Hafiz because of his mastery of the science of Hadith, and have written intensively in the science of Hadith. Also at times he referred to as the title of Amir al-Mu'mineen in Hadith. So he has given these type of titles. That Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, as you more commonly refer to as Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, that this is Ibn Hajar is of the name of his ancestors. So one of his ancestors, so he referred to as Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani rahimahullah ta'ala. As for his madhab fiqhiyya, then he is said to be Shafi'i. So Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, regarding concerning madhab al-fiqhiyya, he said to be that of all the madhab of al-Shafi'iyya, by way of what he is taught, that is his madhab that is affiliated to. Also as for his wilada wa nashat wa talabat al-ilm, that Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, that he was wulidat fi thani ashar Shaban. He was born the 12th of the month of Shaban. Slight khilaf regarding concerning this matter. Fi sana, as they mention, ثلاثة وسبعين وسبعمية, and he was the year 773 al-Hijri. So he was born the 12th of Shaban in the year 773 al-Hijri. And he was born concerned that, that close to the Nile, the banks of the Nile, where he was born. And eventually, he was born as yatim. He lost his father. Then also, he lost his mother. Then also soon after. So he grew up without a father. Then also without his mother. Then he was grown up that he was taken care of regarding concern that, it was that of those who looked after him. Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, as a child after the passing of his parents, that one who said to be Zaki ad-Din Kharubi. Zaki ad-Din Kharubi, who was the one who was instrumental in his life as a young person that looked after Ibn Hajar rahimahullah ta'ala. Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, as a young boy, that from the age of 5, that he started learning concerning that went into the books, start to learn concerning the basic things of learning of to read and write. By the age of 9, he has memorized the Quran. So by the age of 9, that he has memorized the entire Quran, to the extent that it is mentioned at the age of 12. So the age of 12, that Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, that he led the people in Salat at-Tarawih in Al-Haram al-Makki. So he was able to lead the people in Salat at-Tarawih in Haram al-Makki, in Mecca. And he was at the age of 12. So at a young age of 12, that he led the people in Salat al-Tarawih, rahimahullah ta'ala. Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, of those things that he had memorized also mutun, as also the tradition of the ulama in studying, that they'll study of the books, and also they'll memorize mutun. So the books that they would study, they'll memorize them. So Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, he had mentioned al-Umdah, also mentioned al-Fiyat al-Iraqi in Hadith, Hawi al-Saghir in Fiqh al-Shafi'i, Muqtasar ibn Hajib in Usul, so al-Mulha. So he had memorized concerning in different funun, different sciences, memorized different texts. As that's the tradition of the ulama regarding memorizing of texts. Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, that as a young boy also concerned of things regarding Arabiya, that also that he has studied regarding that Arabic language and science. So he have gone through that tradition. And Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, that also he had traveled regarding concerning of his journey in seeking of knowledge, that he had traveled to different places, as was the tradition of the ulama of old. So the ulama of the past, that they would travel to different places, different countries, by way of centers of learning, where they'll benefit the ulama from their region. So the tradition of the ulama, that they'll first benefit from the scholars of their region, of their city. Then after they will start to travel to different places in pursuit of knowledge. So Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, that he had traveled to Yemen, traveled to Sham, traveled to Hijaz in seeking of knowledge from the ulama in those regions. Next, regarding concerning Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, he had many shuyukh that he mentioned regarding concerning that he have over 500 shuyukh, or five of his teachers, over 500 teachers. So Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, that where he has studied from different science, from different shuyukh. That of the more famous of the people that he has studied from, that they mentioned Nuruddin al-Haythami, Ibn Malakkin, Izzuddin ibn Jamah, and others that he had studied from. So Ibn Hajar rahimahullah studied from the ulama of his time and have many teachers that he had studied from. Also regarding his said mansib, manasib of position that he have held because of his knowledge, that he had taken the role of being a qadi, where he worked in that capacity for over 20 something years, 28, 27 years. He worked in that capacity of a judge, or sorry, concerning 21 years as a judge, so not 27, but rather 21 years as a judge. So Ibn Hajar rahimahullah took the role of being a judge, also that as being a khatib, so being like an imam, a khatib of a masjid where he give khutbah and lesson in the masjid. And he mentioned al-Jami al-Azhar, so concerning Jami al-Azhar, or Jami' Umar, Amr ibn As. So in those two places, those two masajid, Jami al-Azhar, wa Jami' Amr ibn As, that is also that he served as being the Imam al-Khatib. Also Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, as we mentioned, also that he led the Salat at-Tarawih in Haram al-Makki. Also regarding concerning, also he had the position of being appointed as a mufti, a person to give fatawa, so being of those who are appointed to give fatawa. And he served in that role for over 30 years. He served in that role for over 30 years as being regarding concerning mansib of ifta. And also as an alim, also that he taught in madaris, and also that he of those who and also he had authored many works. So also, so he authored many works regarding Islamic science and various science, and in particular ilm al-hadith. As for the book that he has authored, Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, that he have done many works and renowned works, to the extent that a person may say that any work that you see the name of Ibn Hajar, then it's something that you should collect. It's something for you to collect. So of his works that stands out, so Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, regarding concerning ilm al-hadith, that he have works regarding mutun, collecting mutun. So he has, for example, the work that is known as Bulugh al-Maram. So this is a matan. Also, Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, he has explanation of books of hadith. So he has his work that is well renowned, that is known as Fathul Bari, that some refer to as an encyclopedia regarding ilm. So Fathul Bari, with an explanation of Sahih Bukhari. Also he has concerning ilm al-ruwat, concerning al-ruwat, tahdhib, at-tahdhib wa taqrib. So he has these books. Lisan al-mizan, ta'jil al-manfa. So these are books that relate to ruwat, tahdhib wa taqrib, lisan, mizan, ta'jil al-manfa. Also you have works regarding the Sahaba, as referred to as Isaba fi Tamyiz as-Sahaba. So Isaba fi Tamyiz as-Sahaba, and that is a work that come in a masterpiece, a well-known work that's considered to be a masterpiece regarding matters that relate to Sahaba. So works that regarding concerning the Sahaba, then that is a work that come in many volumes, that done by Ibn Hajar rahimahullah. Also he has books regarding takhrij, so books of takhrij, and of those work he has Talkhis al-Habir fi takhrij ahadith Rafi al-Kabir. So that's concerning fiqh al-Shafi'i. So he went to one of the main books of the fiqh of the Shafi'i, Rafi al-Kabir, and he did which is a summary of a book. So he checked the hadith that is mentioned in the book of Rafi al-Kabir, a hadith. So that's concerning takhrij. Also he has a book that's called Kafi al-Shaf, that takhrij ahadith al-Kashaf. So that book he went with also a summary of another work, an addition, where Zayla'i, that he went to the book of Kashaf, that's a book regarding tafsir by Zamakhshari, and he extracted all the hadith that is used and verified them. So Ibn Hajar went and made a talkhis, a summary of that book, with also addition. And that book is in print. So you have also those works of Ibn Hajar, and also other works that he has done. Also he has a work that is also very famous regarding Sahih Bukhari, which is known as Taghliq, at-Ta'liq, which the hadith that are said to be mu'allaqat in Sahih Bukhari, he went and did some research around those hadith, which is mu'allaqat of Sahih Bukhari, is of those hadith where Imam Bukhari rahimahullah did not mention a full chain for those hadith, but most of those hadith that relates to concerning, that is not the main hadith of the book. But Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, he went and he verified those hadith and pointed out to where the asanid of those hadith, where they can be found. And also of his books in Mustalah, that he has several work regarding ilm al-hadith, regarding ilm usul al-hadith, or ilm al-mustalah hadith. Of those words that he has, that's the word I will be discussing, Nukhbatul Fikr. So he started with Nukhbatul Fikr as something, as a small text to use for beginners, or to be used regarding having an understanding of ilm al-hadith. Then he went on to explain that work. So he went on to explain that work that he referred to as is referred to as Nuzhatul Nazar. So an explanation, Nuzhat an-Nazar, fi tawdih Nukhbat al-Fikr, and that is by Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani. So he did a matan, a brief text on ilm al-hadith. Then he went on to explain that work, and also of his other works that he has a Nuqat ala Ibn Salah. So also you have a work of a Nuqat, with a work of Ibn Salah and others, that he went to do some Nuqat, which is some important points regarding certain matters mentioned by Ibn Salah in his work, notable work, which is Muqaddimah Ibn Salah. So those of those work that he have regarding, and others that he have regarding concerning ilm al-hadith. So that's concerning of those works of Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani rahimahullah. As for his students, that they mention of his students, we have Burhan al-Din Ibrahim ibn Umar Biqa'i, Ibn Qadi al-Shubha, Ibn Fad al-Makki, as they refer to as Shaykh al-Islam Zakaria al-Ansari. Also is known for many works. And others, that's of his student Qasim ibn Qatlubugha, and others of his students. So Ibn Hajar rahimahullah have also some students that are said to be famous. So that's concerning in brief regarding concerning Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, and something regarding his life in general. The next matter regarding Ibn Hajar regarding concerning that, the book that he has authored. So that's for the mu'allif. So that's for his work that to be covered regarding a tarif of the mu'allaf, which is the book that he has written that we'll be discussing, which is Nukhbatul Fikr. Nukhbatul Fikr is the book that we'll be covering. So as for the name of the book, is referred to as, our title, Nukhbatul Fikr fi Mustala Ahl al-Athar. Nukhba, Fikr. So the kaf as a fatha, not a sukun. Nukhbatu Fikr fi Mustala Ahl al-Athar. And as for an-Nukhba, Mukhtara, so something which is muntakhaba, it is something we, like they mentioned concerning an-Nukhba, can be said something which is like the cream of something that is said to, so it will be the cream of something, something that the chosen thing of that matter. So it is something considered to be the cream of the matter, and those things that are the choice or the chosen of that thing. And something of, then it mentioned fikr, that they mentioned jam, fikra, which concerning that, what is meant by this concerning that matter regarding the person's thought, ta'ammul, that regarding concern that relating to that these thoughts concerning that, that he has ponder carefully and select carefully regarding these matters pertaining to ilm al-mustalah. So these matters that I think that are very khulasa, this is like the cream of ilm al-hadith. Regarding these thoughts are what to be mentioned. So that's concerning the general cross. So as you mentioned that the other word concerning fi mustala al-hatar, regarding concerning that this relates to matter that relates to ilm al-mustalah. So of the word mustala is used. So you find out the latter scholars, they start to use the word mustalah. Before, the word mustalah was not used by the ulama of the past, but Ibn Hajar rahimahullah mentioned fi mustalah ahli al-athar, regarding ahli al-athar, ahli al-hadith. So ahli al-athar, regarding those people who specialize regarding matters relates to hadith wal athar, which is al-athar with the ulama of hadith, that it can have meaning regarding matter that relates back to the Prophet alayhi salam and also the Sahaba or as-Salaf. So the matters concerning al-athar have generally various meanings that are given. Al-athar at times is used regarding matter that relates to the Sahaba and the Tabi'a and the Salaf, referred to as athar. And also athar can be in reference to things that relates to the Prophet alayhi salam and also the Salaf. So it can be used in specific regarding things that relates to the Salaf, and also it could be of a more general meaning that the word al-athar include regarding a hadith an-nabawiyya and athar as-salafiyya. So it could mean al-marfu' wal-mawquf. So al-mustalah, as referred to as, those terminology that are certain words that have been given a specific meaning in a particular field of specialization. So al-mustalah is when the people of a particular science, that they will use a particular term, give that particular terminology a particular meaning as relate to their science. So it will not share the general meaning, but it now take a more specific meaning targeted to that particular science. As for the ammiyah of this, the hamiyat ada kitab wa makanati, that Ibn Azri mentioned that of those books that have become of those that stand out regarding ilm al-hadith, you could put them in three phases. The book of Khatib al-Baghdadi, al-Kifaya, then after the book of Ibn Salah, al-Muqaddimah, Ibn Salah, then after Ibn Salah, the book of Ibn Hajar, which is the book that we're discussing. So the book Nukhbatul Fikr and its explanation, Nuzhat al-Nazar, that they become also then the centerpiece that are given a lot of attention from the time that they were written up until today. So it stands as a important work in the field of hadith, and especially the method and the approach that he followed that was different from the method of, and the approach of those who were before him. So the book, as we mentioned, that book been given great attention by the ulama. We find that those who have explained the book of Nukhbatul Fikr, and we discussed that, those who have made manzuma, poetry lines from it. So all those things have been done related to Nukhbatul Fikr. Also, it has been explained by many of explanation that are said to be in the form of a book of ulama of the past, also books written of contemporaries, and also you'll find that many regarding those who have explained ilm al-hadith, at some point they'll discuss the book Nukhbatul Fikr or Nuzhat al-Nazar. So at some point one will go through this as the series of books to be studied regarding in the field of ilm al-hadith. So as for Tariq al-Tahlif al-Kitab, that they have mentioned that the book was written by Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, that while he was in Misr. So you have a discussion that did he authored this book while he was traveling or while he was still based in Misr. He was while he was still in Misr. So I said, no, what is more correct, that he was authored not while he was traveling, but while he was stationary in Misr, while he was residing in Misr. That's concerning that matters to the Tariq. And they mentioned he authored this book around the year 812. He authored 812. Just also to add that Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, he died 852. He died 852. So the year of his death, 852. So he authored this book. They mentioned 812 al-Hijri. And we said that he was born 773. So we can do the math regarding at what point he authored this book. So it's a general thing that he authored the book around the year 812 al-Hijri. Also, what seems more correct, he was not traveling when he wrote this book, but rather he was in Misr. The next of the things says, Sabab Ta'lif al-Kitab. What's the reason behind him authoring this book? They mentioned regarding Ibn Hajar rahimahullah that he himself also explained the reason why he authored and wrote this book. As he mentioned, Sa'alani ba'da ikhwani an ulakhis lahum muhim min dhalik. So he mentioned that Sa'alani ba'da ikhwani, that he was asked to write of this book. So it was something that others had approached him and asked for him to put this book together. A discussion regarding concerning all of those, but overall that it was something that it was something that he was requested of him to put together this book that will give him, as I mentioned, ulakhis lahu muhim min dhalik, and to give a summary of the more important matters relating to ilm al-hadith. So, of writing the book that he wanted to combine regard or to put together some of the more important matters regarding ilm al-mustalah or ilm al-hadith, ulum al-hadith, for the talib al-ilm to be aware of and to study. So these are the things that he mentioned also in this book, that he put emphasis regarding that, putting off this book regarding that making things in a very structured, organized fashion. So kind of somewhat he tried to make the book in a very organized fashion, which also regarding concern the emphasis and also regarding definitions, also put things are done in, as I say, taksimat, putting things in different categories. So he put a lot of emphasis regarding this, was a lot of thoughts regarding putting this book together was done by Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, as one will notice in the way the book is structured. Of the thing that they said in comparison to the book of Ibn Hajar, which is Nukhbatul Fikr, that he also approached the book in a different style compared to those who preceded him regarding writings in al-Mustalah. So he put a different style where Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, that he structured the book that, or that, like if compared to the book of Ibn Salah, that Ibn Salah, he started up by first mentioned concerning matter related to Hadith Sahih, then Hasan, then Da'if. Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, that he started the book by mentioning concerning Hadith al-Mutawatir, then also then he mentioned Hadith al-Ahad, Hadith Sahih, Hasan, Da'if, and the likes. So he kind of somewhat took a different approach regarding how he structured and approached the book, contrary to the style used by those who preceded them. And also a lot of emphasis regarding definition, that at times it needs some definition, needed further clarity. So this was how the explanation came about, to give certain more clarity on some of those explanations or definitions. Also, he added certain class of hadiths, anwa, that was not per se, types of hadith that were not mentioned before. So of those he mentioned muhkam. Also he mentioned some other, man wafaqa kunyatuhu, kunyat, zawjati. So you have these things that also that he mentioned over like different dimension, marifat sabab al-hadith. So he'll mention these type of things that were addition, not mentioned by Ibn Salah. So he added certain things that were not mentioned by Ibn Salah. A lot of those things relate to a rawi, regarding concerning things of the narrators, but he added certain categories not mentioned by Ibn Salah. Also of the categories of hadith that he mentioned, that Ibn Salah, he mentioned over 60 categories of hadith. As for Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, that he mentioned over 100. So he added and mentioned different categories and different areas that were not per se mentioned by those that preceded him. So Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, that added to the discussion regarding points related to hadith that were not per se mentioned in books written in Mustalah. And of those books, of those important books, with the book of Ibn Salah, Muqaddimat Ibn Salah. As for the next matter regarding concern, as we mentioned, that the book, there are many explanations, hawashi, manzumat, of the book that revolves around the book of Ibn Salah. Muqtasarat, even those who have made muqtasarat, of the book of Al-Nukhba, even though the Mukhtasar itself, those who have condensed it even further. So many works regarding that, the book of Ibn Salah. So of the ones regarding concerning, you have many explanations, and these explanations that many of whom are taught in different institutes of Islamic learning. And these explanation that they vary regarding their level of depth. Regarding their level of depth, they vary. So you have of those of old who have made a Mukhtasar. So you have, for example, Mukhtasar Al-Nukhba by Muhammad ibn Mustafa. Also you have a Mukhtasar by Abdul Wahhab ibn Ahmed ibn Barakat al-Shafi'i Ahmadi. But this explanation or this Mukhtasar is one of a contemporary. And this Mukhtasar is Talkhis Nukhbatul Fikr by Sheikh Dr. Ustad Umar Muqbil Wafaqah Allah. So of one of the contemporaries who have done a Mukhtasar of Nukhbatul Fikr, and we'll be using this one. We'll be using the one of the contemporaries of our time that we're using is Mukhtasar to be the one that we'll use as the material to be taught. So I mentioned that they have many explanation. Ibn Hajar rahimahullah himself have explained the book Nukhbatul Fikr. So which is called Nuz'atul Nazar fi Tawdih Nukhbatul Fikr. في مصطلح أهل الأثر, that's by Ibn Hajar himself. So he did Nukhbatul Fikr, then he went on to explain, even during his time, before his explanation, there were those who explained Nukhbatul Fikr. So you have even those who preceded Ibn Hajar in explaining this work because of the attention he gained from the ulama and acceptance of the ulama of his time. And as for Nukhbatul Fikr and Nuz'atul Nazar, that both have been, you have many checking of those works, of that book. So you have many who have done work around that regarding concerning editing and checking the work, these two works of Ibn Hajar, Nuzha and Nukhba. And in print regarding explanation, there are many. So in today, what we can find in the market, that there are many explanations of Nukhbatul Fikr, of those of past and also those of contemporary. Those of past and those of contemporaries. So in previous discussion regarding books of Hadith, we have mentioned different explanation of Nukhbatul Fikr wa Nuz'atul Nazar. We have explained some of those ones. So that inshallah ta'ala, so that's concerning that matter regarding the book Nukhbatul Fikr of Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani. So the next matter that to be covered is regarding concerning what we'll be covering. So as for the method of what we'll be covering, I've said the book that we'll be using is Talkhis Nukhbatul Fikr by Ustad Umar Muqbil, of one of the Mashaykh of contemporary time, who specializes in the field of Hadith, who is a professor in the university. So he have his, and also he has his own explanation, and also he did his own talkhis. Then will be as gone according to what is mentioned in the book, but also at times we might mention difference between the ulama. So mention what is mentioned by the author, as that may be his view, and explain his view, and also if there's other views, as you might find that Ibn Hajar rahimahullah at times may give certain definition that you may have a second view on the matter, or he might take to a particular view where I said there's other views on the matter. So also might sometimes mention those other views to give certain clarity. Also, he may take a particular position. We find the ulama of old that they may have a more broader view than what he has taken. But also to bear in mind that of the views that are taken by Ibn Hajar, that these have become like the standard views that are followed by most today. So if I'm concerned that the views that are mentioned there by Ibn Hajar, these have become the more popular definition that are given to these mustalah, these terminology that are used in hadith. Even though some may be challenged, so even though somebody's definition and position taken by Ibn Hajar, that they are challenged by some, but they become the more common definition that are used by today. Also, I might give some examples. So whatever we mentioned, we try to give example, take it from books of hadith directly. So to give examples taken from books of hadith, so I might try to find some of those examples, more so regarding from books of either Kutubu Sitta or As-Sunan, Al-Araba. So try to, or Muwatta Imam Malik, so those books of Kutubu Sitta plus Muwatta Imam Malik, we can somewhat try to more focus on example taken from those sources. So taken from the books of the traditional book and the classical book of hadith regarding example that are mentioned by the author, rahimahullah ta'ala. Unless there isn't, so try to use of that, those sources and other sources that are relevant by the ulama of old. So that's concerned that matter. Also of things to bear in mind, that we mentioned, that not many have written, as we said, this book of Ibn Hajar is taught by many. Of those who taught this book, people who specialize in hadith, and those that are not specialists in hadith. As for us, we'll primarily stick to the books that are used by people that are more known regarding their specialty in the field of hadith. To make sure that we can somewhat stay in line with the approach of the ulama of hadith. And as we said, not that will be our approach in brief. And not everyone who may explain a book in hadith is said to be a muhaddith. So not everyone who explain Nukhbatul Fikr or may explain one of the more simple books in hadith that they are said to be a muhaddith. So you may find a person who is said to be a faqih, said to be an usuli, that they may sometimes explain a book in hadith, one of these muqtasarat in hadith, but they are not said to be, they are not referred to as a muhaddith. So not everyone who may discuss a work in hadith, especially these more beginner type of books, that they are not referred to as a muhaddith. So with that, inshallah ta'ala, we'll be concerned that, as we said, an introduction to the book that we hope to study, which is the book which is related to Nukhbatul Fikr, one of the muqtasarat, which is called Talkhis Nukhbatul Fikr, and we'll try to discuss the different point. The book itself is not many pages. So the book itself, Nukhbatul Fikr, maybe about 8 pages. So half of that, the muqtasar will be about half its size. But inshallah ta'ala, it gives the person a general, well-grounded understanding regarding ilm al-mustalah or ulum al-hadith. So the one who have studied the book of Nukhbatul Fikr and studied that book well, the person have a very have a foundation regarding ilm al-hadith, something to start with and to build from. Ordinarily, this book, Nukhbatul Fikr, Nuzhat al-Nazar, is to be taught by a person who is grounded in ilm al-hadith. As this book is not considered to be in reality a book for beginner because of the depth of the information that is collected that is within the book. And so the matter that needs to be unpacked, it requires a person who has a good background in ilm al-hadith, because there's many things to be unpacked from what is mentioned. At that time, Ibn Hajar rahimahullah may mention aqwal that is not from the people of hadith, ulama al-hadith, but more so from the usuliyin. So those things need to be unpacked, which is not many, but still need to be unpacked. So regarding concerning that ilm, studying of this book, it will give the person somewhat a foundation for those people who are inclined towards hadith, for them to go to the next level. So that's why we use a talqis, to set that foundation regarding understanding ilm al-hadith or Musnad al-Hadith. So that's concerning. So, as we said, it's for a foundation level, but to give a person a general overview of some of the main topics covering ilm al-hadith. So that inshallah ta'ala will end for today. And the next session inshallah ta'ala will be start discussing the book. So we start discussing the book. So we'll read the Arabic and the translation, and then we'll discuss the masail, the points that are relevant to what is being discussed. So that inshallah ta'ala will, and as we mentioned, we try to bring also amthila, examples. So those are things that would be a part of the course of this study. And if there's any particular question, then of those who are able to maybe make contact directly, and we'll try to respond to some of those questions or queries or further clarity. As we see ourselves, we are not a teacher, but we're just tullab, students that are just revising one of the books of the ulama and mention the aqwal of the ulama regarding what have been said by the, so nothing from ourselves directly, but what we're doing is just mentioning what have been mentioned by the ulama on this particular topic, to give some as a form of by way of somewhat as a reminder to ourselves regarding what is involved in this particular topic regarding ilm al-hadith and its importance. So with that inshallah ta'ala will end. وبالله تعالى توفيق وهادي إلى السبيل والآخر دعواني الحمد لله رب العالمين السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
41 minutes and 46 seconds.